After the game, Coach Fickle talked about how maybe when things weren't going right in the second half, maybe they hit that big play that you sat everybody down the sideline and stabilized things. Just what were the things you said to the guys? I presume it was in the second half. Just what were the things you said to them to get everybody focused again on?
I think the thing we have to understand is that as players and coaches, it doesn't always go how you draw it up. You go out there and you work on something all week and you prepare. And I think as a player, you go out there and it's not always roses. It's not always you dominating somebody. But then you look up and you have a chance to win a football game. And at that point in time, you just kind of have to clear everything and go on and find ways to make plays like Tyvis did and some other guys did late in the game. And I think that, certainly we don't want to play like that, but there's going to be times during the course of a season, course of a game, where it's not going well. And you have to find the will to go and win a football game.
Front row left, Rusty.
Could you talk a little bit about Penn State, if you had an opportunity to see much of them, the freshman quarterback, and what they like to do?
Yeah, he's shown a lot of poise in there. He throws the ball well. He's got a strong arm, good skill, good tight ends, good backs. They got one physical back. They've got two speed backs, guys that can slash a little bit and stretch and cut back. A veteran offensive line. So between last night and this morning, we're in there looking at them now and seeing how we're going to do it. They've got a bye week to prepare, so you got to put a bunch on the board and be sound in what we're doing and give our kids a chance to go out there and play with some effort.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, Mike, you from the NFL, you with Wes Welker, he was a guy, a go-to guy, yet Brady always seemed to be able to find him. Allen Robinson seems to be that kind of player too. What kind of makes those kind of guys stand out? I mean, why can they get the ball in certain situations?
Well, I think I think first it's a trust issue between a quarterback and a receiver. No different than a defensive line and a linebacker, and really what we do is build around trust and gaining confidence and playing with confidence. And so I think when you talk about a quarterback and receiver, they have a lot of trust in each other that he's going to get open, number one, that he's going to catch the ball, and that the quarterback doesn't probably have to be perfect if he's throwing the ball to him. He knows he can throw it in an area and somebody's going to go make a play, if that helps.
Middle, Dave.
Mike, you guys have faced a lot of quarterbacks that got rid of the ball quickly this year. I want to ask you about the pass rush. Are you pleased with the pass rush, not pleased with it, or where are you guys at there?
Well, I think that's always a work in progress. I don't think you're ever satisfied. I think that when we can get teams into third and long, I like our chances over the course of a ball game or a season. I think our percentages are going to be well. But when you are in 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 3, you don't have a whole lot of opportunities to rush the passer, as I think we all saw on Saturday. But when you look at the second half and you have the opportunity to be 3rd and 7, be up 10 points, you can go with 4 guys that can rush the passer and get the quarterback to not be able to set his feet, to get rid of the ball, to hit him, to let him get rid of the ball before he's ready to throw it, before guys are open. So it's predicated on getting them into those situations and then having the guys out there on the field that can go win.
The Penn State rivalry, how big of a game is this for Ohio State in general? Your freshman year was the first year they joined the conference. Just how big of a game do you think this is for Ohio State in general?
Well, I think they're all big. I think when you're at Ohio State, regardless of who you play, I think every game's big. Ohio State hasn't lost since Coach Meyer started coaching here. So every game we play gets bigger and bigger.
Front row right, Austin.
Mike, is there a part of Joey Bosa's game that you think is particularly advanced for a true freshman?
I think physically he's much more advanced where, a lot of kids coming out of high school would be in their first year. I just think his strength, his core strength, his balance, those types of things stand out to me. And he's going to continue to work. He's going to continue to work his technique. But it's physically he's able to play at this level because of his natural strength, his natural core strength, and he's got great balance.
Obviously, you guys recruited for a reason, and I know the policy about redshirting that you want these guys to play right away, but has he been ahead of schedule or surprising for you guys once you got into the season, how much you could play him?
Well, I think you get opportunities, and you start out with 5 opportunities, 10 opportunities, 15 out, whatever those opportunities are. He was a player that took advantage of those opportunities and went from 20 or 25 snaps to 50, 55, 60, and now he's a starter for us, and we've got to have him in there. He's a difference maker. And he's playing well. I mean, he didn't play great Saturday, but he certainly shows up and continues to do a lot of good things for us.
Front row, Bill.
Iowa didn't have a lot of long run gains, but they consistently in the
Sure.
first half got 5, 6.
That's it. Yep.
yards.
Call it what it was.
Right. Was
Beat
it?
the out of us. I agree. I mean, they had 4 that, in our minds, I think they had 4 that were uncontested. We're around the edge. We had no edge. 1 was to the boundary, 2 was to the field. Easy yardage. Then there was some yardage that was pushed and washed. Contact at 2 yards, and they push the line, throw the line over the pile, block the linebackers, just soft. And we don't do a good job of playing physical with our hands, getting off blocks, shedding off blocks, walking away from blocks. And when you do that against a good offensive line, they're going to continue to push you and move the pile. And then we had a bunch of plays that were for 2 and 3 yards. But I think the 5 and 6 yard ones are bothersome. And then you got to fix the ones that are uncontested, where they just hand the ball off and run around the edge. And we're going to do that.
How hard is that to fix? Is it something that you are concerned about, or is it just one of these things?
I mean, to me, it's about coaching better, and it's about playing better. And when you talk about the defensive line, you talk about me being the coach and then the guys that I have in the game. So I'm gonna coach better, and they're gonna play better, and that's the technique things, and effort and toughness has to be perfect for us. The technique, and you're not gonna make every single play. We understand that. No one's gonna grade 100%, but we feel like you should be able to grade 100% in your toughness and your effort.
Front row left, Doug.
Mike, when an offense is doing things that maybe you didn't expect them to do coming in, or they didn't show on film before, when you're making those in-game adjustments, like in the first half, and you and the other coaches are seeing what's happening, do you throw everything at the players right away? How do you go about making those adjustments with the players, maybe not wanting to overwhelm them, but also try to fix what's going on?
Right. We understand they're not professional football players. I think that, the learning curve might not be as steep for them, but we got to adjust. I mean, we got to do it quicker, and we've got to get it to them, and we've got to make them go out there and understand and play it with confidence and play new looks with confidence. You're never going to be able to show them every single thing in practice. But what you can do is you can give them confidence. You can give them fundamentals to go out there and make those adjustments. And that falls on us as coaches, as well as, we can't go out there and do it for them, but you got to give them the confidence to say, here's what they're going to do. We need to go out there. Let's do it and make them turn the page. Let's make them do something else than what they've been doing that maybe we didn't prepare well enough during the week for.
I noticed when you guys went into halftime, you seemed to be really sprinting up the ramp. Do you always?
Well, I just try to get up there and get the guys settled. I mean, Everett and Luke and Kerry, try to handle whatever adjustments we're going to make. I just wanted to get up there and be ready for our defense when they came in there, and just to try to talk to them and figure out what was going on, and get guys to start playing with some confidence, and not always understanding that at 5 yards is the end of the world. I mean, it's a long game, and you need to play and compete a little bit.
Last 2 questions. Back row, Clay.
Yeah, Coach, a couple of things. I heard Finkus say on one of our shows, the defense right now is too reactionary. They need to impose their will. But you can't impose your will with young kids, can you? I mean, doesn't it take a Vrabel, Finkus kind of line to do that?
Well, I think that we've got to do that a little bit with our call. I think sometimes we've got to do that. We've got to bring some pressure to allow them to do that. And then guys got to step up. I mean, guys, maybe it's Joey Bosa. Who cares who it is? But the guys need to do that. I mean, this is a physical, violent sport that's competitive. And at some point in time, you got to have some guys that aren't so nice and go out there and start, playing football.
Last question.
Go ahead, when Penn State got the sanctions, everybody said, hey, they're crippled, they're done, they're going to bottom out. They backed off of those sanctions a little bit. But as somebody who recruits against them, do you see them surviving this and not, falling off the cliff?
Well, I'm sure. I mean, Bill O'Brien's a good friend. He was in New England while I was there. He's a good football coach. He's going to do, everything he can to keep that program where it's been for the last 50 or 60 years. So I don't see that, changing. I don't know what's going on, and we've got plenty to worry about here in Columbus.
Last question, Todd.
Like, how tough is it to prepare in these games? You kind of mentioned this earlier, when you've got 19 wins in a row and everyone wants to be the team that stops that streak. Plus, you're playing teams that have 2 weeks to get ready for you guys. How difficult is this stretch of games right here?
Well, I mean, I think that's life in a big city. I think you got to understand that whether they have a bye week or not, you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. And the stuff that you've had trouble with is going to continue to show up until you stop it. The things that you do well, they're going to try to have answers for. And we need to do a great job as a staff, and we need to do a great job to getting that from our minds to our players' minds, and ultimately giving them an opportunity to play fast.
As someone who played the game, do you have any thoughts on trying to enforce this targeting rule in the right way with how it's written up? And
Obviously you better stay away from the head, and hit them with anything, but it better not be on the head. It's anything that looks close. That's what they're told to call. So, whether you say it's with a shoulder or a helmet or whatever it is, it better not be anywhere above the neck. That's what it looks like to me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.